Alright, this is a shot. It looks pretty bleak. Frozen land, broken down pier. And the opening statement is for 25 years I wondered. Most people wonder all their lives and don't know why they're here. And even those that do find the answers of why they're here sometimes are lost because they're not following the mind and will of God. They're not listening to His Spirit enough. In short, they lack the faith and the virtue, the righteousness to receive answers to their prayers and follow them. And I know that's a bold statement. A lot of people may disagree with me, but I know in my life I have not gotten close enough to God consistently to follow His will and then had the courage and wisdom to do it. So I speak out of personal experience when I say that. We're going to edit this real quickly, and we're going to encourage you to watch The Hope of God's Light. That's the name of the video. This is only going to take a quick edit and a couple things out of this video. Here goes.
For nearly 25 years, I wandered. I was born in 1968 to a good family, though we didn't believe in God. In fact, as I grew older, I began to make fun of people who thought God was real.
Make fun of people that thought God was real, didn't believe in God. Sounds like a lot of the world.
I didn't need somebody else's make-believe God. I was certain He wasn't there.
I didn't need someone else's make-believe God. I was certain He wasn't there.
From age 14 to 22, I lived entirely for myself. I was popular in high school, and I partied hard.
Lived entirely for myself, 14 to 22. Does this sound like so many of us? We're so busy in this world and living for ourselves, doing our own thing. We don't need God. Why would we need God?
I even won 2 state basketball championships. By age 18, I had a full-ride scholarship to play college basketball. I felt like I was on my way. But 4 years later, it all came crashing down. I'd made some bad choices, and gradually I lost everything I had earned.
Do we have to lose everything before we can learn? Do we have to hit bottom so often before we look up? So often we do. Not everybody, but so often this is a repeating and reoccurring theme. And even after we hit bottom and we start to look towards God, and even after we come out, what do we do with that? This is only the beginning of the story of turning to God.
I interrupted, asking them what fasting was. One of them told me it was something they did when they wanted help from God. It seems so silly.
Fasting and prayer, help from God. He does do that. He does pray.
I prayed for the first time in my life.
I prayed for the first time in my life.
I told God that I was going to fast, that I'd go without food and water for 24 hours, but that I wanted Him to show Himself to me.
We want it on our terms. That isn't always the way it works, is it?
So we hung out one day, catching up on old times.
Remember, he believed that God didn't answer his prayers. Now this guy calls out of nowhere.
When out of the blue he said, "Todd, I don't know how to tell you this. I was scared to even invite you over. But yesterday I had a strong impression from God to call you. And God impressed me to tell you that He needs you on His side." today. I was speechless. Was God real? Had he answered my prayer? Had he sent someone to me?
Was God real? Did he answer my prayer? Did he send someone to me? The answer to all these questions was yes. Had it not been for this individual living close enough to God, this man's prayers would not have been answered so powerfully through this individual. Do we get that picture? God often sends people and situations to answer our prayers. He doesn't often send an angel or a powerful situation. It's often through simple, subtle things, people and situations, that he gives us answers to our prayers. Even scriptures, even prayer, even through other members or other individuals, even other associations. Are we passing up these opportunities to listen and to receive answers to our prayers? Are we even humble enough to recognize the hand of God in our life? I hope not. It's Roger Martin from Billings, Montana. By following the Spirit, by seeking the Spirit, we can get answers to our prayers, but often they come through scriptures, through verses, through actions of other people, through many different ways.
Couldn't believe it. But he had. With my friend's help, for the next year and a half, I fought like a lion to overcome all my problems. Up and down I went, succeeding and failing along the way.
He fought like a lion, up and down, year and a half. Continual effort and struggle.
But little by little, I started to see small but obvious things happen in my life. The answers to questions that had long bothered me began to be revealed. Slowly, things started to change. Finally, I decided to attend church. One day, someone there reached out, inviting me to a church-sponsored picnic. I felt a bit awkward about it, but I decided to go. It turned out to be the straightest party I'd ever been to. No drugs, no alcohol, silly games for the kids everyone had brought. And then we had lunch, and someone wanted to pray over the hot dogs. I thought it was strange, but I bowed my head and closed my eyes. And then my life changed. 2 years after that initial fast and prayer, 700 days after I had pleaded with God in my closet, I felt something I had never felt in my life. Something 20 times stronger than any drug I'd ever taken. It was as if someone were hugging me, as if someone were telling me I was home, that these people were good, and that I needed to be with them, that God was there, and that he knew me by name, and that he loved me.
God is there. He does love us. He does give us answers to our prayers. But we have to be willing to receive it and obey it and follow it. Again, this is Roger Martin from Billings, Montana. Have a great day. Learn to follow the Spirit. It will bless you forever.
I had always thought that if God were to manifest himself to me, that he would come down in a lightning bolt or in a great clash of fire. But I learned that day at the picnic that I was wrong. I realized that it is part of our condition as mortals to sometimes feel as though we are surrounded by darkness. But even though we may feel lost, that God promises to illuminate the way before us, no matter how long it takes. For 2 years, God had nurtured a questioning soul. Little by little, he had given me as much as I could handle, until the day I was humble enough to hear fully what he wanted to tell me. I also learned by my own experience The spiritual light rarely comes to those who merely sit in darkness, waiting for someone to flip a switch. It takes an act of faith to open our eyes to the light of Christ. 20 years later, I still don't know everything, but I now know who I am. I know who God is,